This was an exercise in personal forestry, but it was also an exercise in the creation of personal art. I could have been painting a landscape or composing a cycle of songs. The exercise in finding the right distribution of trees feels like revising a poem. Given my lack of technical expertise, I could not reconcile myself to the title of forester, but I could live with the idea that I am a writer who works in the forest and with the forest, a writer who practices the art of forestry and writes in trees. The practice of forestry may be changing, but I am unaware of any instances where proficiency in the arts is sought as a professional qualification by timber companies or schools of forestry. Perhaps that is what we need, artists as foresters. Our ways of seeing are blurred. History is showing us the urgency of clearing our look. We are feeling in our bodies the damage on nature. We are part of nature, and there is no healing without contemplating ourselves as part of a bigger picture. So many tears may wash our lenses so that we can join a wider rhythm. What if we thought about ourselves, others, and the surroundings with compassion? What if creating was part of our nature? What if we could dance to the rhythm of the forest? In a small corner of the world in San Pablo de León Cortés, Costa Rica, you can find El Casquillo Farm, Finca El Casquillo. El Casquillo means cap, and it is a sign of luck for these communities. At my arrival, I found Felicia, a charming woman with a calm energy and a generous smile. We walk along in the farm, and I can see how her eyes look different than mine. I observe how her feet care for the weeds in the trail, how her hands know the tone plants understand. She looks around as the artist with her work. I can tell the link between her and this land.
Desde los ancestros sanaremos niñez. Sana, sana, desde los pies. Desde los ancestros sanaremos niñez y sana, sana.
Meanwhile, she tells me how it all began. Many years ago, this soil was unfertile, dry, erosionated. She moved here as the only place she had to go. Her hands started recovering the soil, little by little. Lost harvest after lost harvest, until the first crop started growing. She takes a pile of soil from the ground and asks me to smell it. It actually smells like fresh bread. There you go, she says. That is the smell of life. I call them microlives. They are everywhere that is healthy. Soil, food, and guts. After a few days, I asked Felicia if there's a relationship between recovering the soil and recovering ourselves. She gets emotional and says, I recovered myself while regenerating this land. I feel like a painter who paints the landscape, but the landscape also transforms my heart.
Sana, sana, que tú eres yo y yo soy el agua en donde despejas tu sol. Sana conmigo, que tú eres yo.
This is the setting where sustainability from within takes place. It started as a question we still walk on. Can dance open a possibility for our healing? For protecting life on earth? Can dance change our lens to see ourselves, others, and the surroundings?
Sana, sana, hermanito, si sanas mañana, mañana sano yo. Sana, sana, hermanito, si sanas mañana, mañana sano yo. Sana, sana, desde los pies, desde los ancestros, sanaremos niñez. Sana, sana, desde los pies, desde los ancestros, sanaremos niñez y sana, sana, hermanito, si sanas mañana, mañana sano yo. en donde despejas tu sol. Sana conmigo, que tú eres yo y yo soy el agua en donde despejas tu sol. Y sana, sana, hermanito, si sanas mañana, mañana sano yo. Y sana, sana, hermanito, si sanas mañana, mañana